St. John Early Childhood Development Center. Some people overseas don't even know about the existence of a little country with a little more than 16 million inhabitants called Malawi. It is said that Malawi is one of the world's poorest countries and has a life expectancy of slightly above 50 years. Malawi has 28 districts. One of them is Mangochi District, where the St. John Early Childhood Development Center is situated at the distance of about 12 kilometers from Mangochi town, near Lake Malombe. The following charitable works have been initiated by Reverend Father Joseph Kimu, the parish priest of Kausi Parish in the Diocese of Mangochi. He is the general manager of about 20 charitable projects which are running under St. John Early Childhood Development Center, serving a population of about 112,000 people.
I am Father Joseph Kimu from the Diocese of Mangochi in Malawi, Africa. I greet all of you who are going to watch this DVD. This DVD is about St. John Early Childhood Development Center. As you will see, there are so many projects, about 20, in favor of so many poor people, especially children. All these activities which you are going to view in this DVD have been made possible because of the sacrifices of so many people, especially from abroad. So many people who have helped in these projects are not rich people. Most of them, they are middle class, and I can also testify some of them poor people in their society. But they made all those sacrifices in order to give hope to some poor child in Malawi, to give hope to some sick person, HIV/AIDS in Malawi, to give hope to an old and lonely person in Malawi. They created a space in their heart and forgot their own comfort in order to share what God had given them. As you watch this DVD, I would like to ask you to help me thank all those people who have really participated in the realization of all these projects.
Reverend Father Kimu was ordained a priest on July 27, 1985. For a long period, he worked in the field of formation and teaching. Because of his experience, one of his major interests is the sector of education, teaching, and formation. With time, he got more and more convinced that one of the reasons for poverty in Malawi is ignorance, due to lack of education and learning. Once he read these inspiring words on a notice board in front of a church: "Education is a fight against hunger because it teaches to work. Education is a fight against disease because it teaches hygiene and prevention. Education is a fight against injustice because it enlightens the conscience." Reverend Father Joseph Kimu is a diocesan priest in the Diocese of Mangochi. During the years he has been a priest, he has always been struck by the low rate of literacy of the area where he ministers. Men and women, boys and girls of the 25 villages that benefit from the different projects that have been initiated hardly know how to read and write. They mainly belong to Yao tribe, whose people historically never took interest in sending their children to school, partly because they live along the lake and find it easier and profitable to go fishing than to go to school. Culturally, the population of Mangochi district is predominantly Yao by tribe. Generally, the Yao people embrace negative cultural practices which lead to early withdrawal of girls from school and subsequently engage in early marriages, exposing them to HIV/AIDS and early child pregnancies and childbearing that distract them from proceeding with their education. St. John Primary School. St. John Primary School was the first project Father Kimu initiated in Chimwala area in 1997. At St. John Primary School, children from the area attend 8 years of primary school, which prepares them for secondary education and thereafter to university. Since 1994, in Malawi, children can attend primary schools for free without paying school fees. The primary school teachers are paid by the government. The church puts up the structures and maintains them. School children have to provide for themselves school uniform, books, exercise books, and other learning materials. Here, the children sing the Malawi national anthem happily, knowing that at break time, they will take a cup of tea or porridge as motivation to keep them in school. A lot of kids come from very poor families who are not able to pay for their school materials. With the help of some benefactors, the school manages to buy the necessary things like books, pens, or soap for them, so they don't have to be ashamed to come to school. Proudly, it has been noted that many children who attended this primary school have been chosen to proceed further and enter Malawi's different secondary or high schools. St. John Nursery School. After having built the St. John Primary School, Reverend Father Joseph Kimu realized that there was need for a nursery school. It is attended by children at the age between 3 and 5 years, coming from 25 villages around the campus. Every morning and early afternoon, the drivers go to get them from and bring them back to their villages. The actual number of children registered at St. John Nursery School is 800. The children get 2 meals a day for free, a small breakfast after arrival, and lunch before they go home. This has helped to diminish the malnutrition of many children in the area and reduce child mortality as compared to some years back when many children used to die due to inadequate nutrition. The St. John Nursery School is of the very few which offers preschool education for free. As the parents don't have to pay for the education of their children, they are asked to make a little symbolic contribution in form of firewood or manual work around the ground of the nursery school, in the maize and soya fields. Running a nursery school with so many kids for free is a very big commitment that calls for a strong belief in the divine providence. Looking for funds for transport, food, electricity, water, medicines, salaries for the teachers, and other support staff members become a monthly preoccupation. To manage 2 nursery schools and a nutrition center, there is need of about 8,000 euros per month. But it is gratifying and marvelous to see how the children who attend the nursery schools, little by little, grow and open their minds, learn the first steps of reading and writing, and how to socialize. It's easier for those who have attended the nursery school to perform well at the primary school level. Bishop Asolari Nursery School. It is a new nursery school that was built with the help of the staff of Banca Popolare di Bergamo and other friends from Italy in memory of Bishop Alessandro Asolari, who was the first bishop of the Diocese of Mangochi. He was Bishop of Mangochi for about 35 years, and during these years, he worked so much in the establishment of many educational and health centers. Bishop Asolari Nursery School was officially opened on June the 14th, 2007. It is attended by the children of Kausi area and the surrounding villages. At Bishop Asolari Nursery School, there are about 400 children in 3 classrooms, making an average of 140 kids per class. Like St. John Nursery School, this one also falls under the management of the St. John Early Childhood Development Center. Both of the nursery schools are open to all children in the area, regardless of the cultural, religious, or tribal background. Since the number of children who attend this nursery school is growing every year, there is need for funds to build more classrooms, teachers' houses, and a bigger refectory. The children who have attended this nursery school and who now attend Kausis or other village primary schools learn faster than their classmates who never attended nursery school but just went straight to primary school from the village. Children's sponsorship or distant adoption of children. Years of famine and the impressive number of persons suffering or dead due to the HIV/AIDS pandemic has brought many orphan children and many difficult situations. Seeing all this, the staff of St. John Early Childhood Development Center asked itself how they could partly alleviate all these sufferings, and little by little, some persons started to help them by sending an amount of money annually to sponsor a child. By the way, Father Kimu himself is the result of a child sponsorship managed by the late Bishop Alessandro Asolari through a poor family from Aviatico near Bergamo in northern Italy. They used to send a part of their small pension to the bishop, who started helping the young Joseph from the age of 10 until he became a priest at 28 in 1985. His greatest discovery in the life of this old couple was that they were materially poor but spiritually and humanly rich. This proves true the saying of John Paul II that no one is too poor to give. A child sponsorship or distant adoption consists of taking care and providing for the necessities of a child living in Malawi. The main aim for this generous initiative is the education of the child in order to help these children to become conscious of their dignity as human beings, capable in the future to work and contribute to the economical and political growth of their country. A child is helped regardless of his or her religious or tribal background. When someone decides to make sponsorship, he or she will receive a card with a photo of the child, its name, the year of birth, indicating if it is an orphan or one parent or both, with whom it is living, in which village, its religion, and in case, which class it is attending. The annual contribution for a child at nursery and primary school level is €300, that is about 82 cents a day, while the annual contribution for the children in secondary school or high school is €700, about €2 a day. But this money will not only be used for the adopted children, but also for the other members in their families and also for the food and many necessities of many other children who have not been distantly adopted in the 2 nursery schools. Women Promotion and Adult Literacy Center. When suffering, disease and poverty strike people, children are always the first to suffer, immediately followed by the women, who suffer most from situations of emergency and poverty. In the area around St. John Early Childhood Development Center, 95% of the women are illiterate. Mostly, they have a lot of children, no husbands, and some may even suffer from HIV/AIDS. That causes long lines of people begging for some small assistance at the center. It is necessary and urgent to change their mentality and way of doing things and make them to be independent. But without a minimum of qualification and education, it is almost impossible for them to become self-sufficient and independent from external help. This is why it was decided to open the St. John Women Promotion and Adult Literacy Center to not only help the kids, but also to help the families where they come from. So this project is also managed by St. John Early Childhood Development Center. The purpose is to assist these women so that later they can become self-sufficient and be able to live independently and raise their children without too much stress and unbearable difficulties. But we can help these women only if we are able to give them the chance of adequate education and training, allowing them to learn the basic ways and methods of housekeeping and the problems connected to health, growth, and education of their children. Some of the benefits those women get from the lessons at St. John Women Promotion and Adult Literacy Center are the following. The already aged women get a chance to learn how to read and write and to make small calculations. These women receive lessons about hygiene, health, and housekeeping for a better skill in children's education, family management, and in the prevention of various diseases like diarrhea, cholera, but also HIV/AIDS. Sometimes, women who had finished the school are invited to come and do further courses. Besides, they are taught how to carry on small projects of income-generating activities. After finishing the course and having got their certificate and a loan, they could start a little cooperative society. They get cooking lessons and they are taught how to create and decorate small handcrafted items made of locally found materials in order to generate income to support themselves and their families. The women are also encouraged to build up confidence in their own skills and to discuss topics which concern their everyday life. To create for themselves a small income-generating activity, the women have the opportunity to attend sewing lessons which are given by 2 professional tailors. Sometimes, the graduated women do work part-time for Early Childhood Development Center. They help to sew school uniforms for about 2,000 children attending the 2 nursery schools and the primary school. Uniforms are compulsory at the nursery and primary schools, both for the children and the staff, to prevent discrimination against poorer children who come to school with ragged clothes. With €200 per year, a poor woman can be helped to get necessary skills, a sewing machine, and a small capital to begin an income-generating activity in her village. Chimanga Maize Project. This project humbly started in 2005 with an initial help received through friends mainly from Paratiko near Brescia. Thanks to Paratiko municipality, every year new families join this project. This is a very important and necessary project because its goal is to empower families through lessons in agriculture, both in class but above all in the fields, where they can learn new ways and systems of growing crops and cultivating the land so as to solve the problem of famine and hunger, which often strikes this region's population. For this project, qualified staff trained in agriculture has been employed. Malawi's economy depends on agriculture, and the activities depend on the weather. In many instances, the rainy season is sporadic. In this case, then, it would be marvelous to have an irrigation system, at least in this region, which is situated near the lake. This project would need millions of euros. Reverend Father Joseph Kimu hopes this dream of his will come true in future. Treadle pump for the irrigation project. It is absurd that in Malawi we should speak of hunger when there are lakes and rivers with so much water. Instead of one maize harvest a year, families could harvest 3 times a year. That is why, with the help of Kermer family from Greeley in Colorado, USA, the treadle pump project has been initiated. Those treadle pumps can be used near the lake, where the farmers can take the water directly from the lake. In more distant villages, the families dig shallow wells from where they draw the water for irrigating their maize or vegetable gardens. The wish would be to buy more of these pumps and thus give this important means to an increasing number of families, enabling them to become self-sufficient in providing their families basic food. With a treadle pump, a family is able to do 3 cultivations per year. The treadle pump system of irrigation is cost-effective, simple, easy, and efficient. The cost of one treadle pump is 200 euros. The cost of seeds, fertilizer, and pesticides for every beneficiary is 100 euros. St. John Nutritional Center. Another key project is the St. John Nutritional Center. In Malawi, more than 1 million children under 5 years of age are suffering from acute malnutrition syndrome. To prevent this, every day, one of the 2 nurses goes with her staff to the villages in the area which are too far away for the children to attend the nursery schools at St. John or Kausi. During the so-called screening, the children under the age of 5 years are weighed, measured the height and the circumference of their upper part of their arm. Those ones under a certain median will get special maize flour to prepare porridge for supplementary feeding, which is enriched with soya flour, vegetable oil, and some vitamins and minerals. But the more severe cases are brought to St. John Nutrition Center, officially recognized by the government through the Ministry of Health, inside the campus, where the mothers can stay with their children for some weeks. There, a special treatment is given under intensive feeding. 20 beds are available and a feeding scheme of every 3 hours is followed.
My name is Seda Masanje. I'm a nurse here at St. John Nutrition Rehabilitation Center. When you say rehabilitation center, we rehabilitate especially the children who are malnourished, those who are underweight, so that we help them to gain weight and to also monitor the growth monitoring. We give them food, especially not really food but milk. It's called F75 and F100. And on top of that, there is a plumpy nut which also we give them. When they are discharged from here, they go home and we supply them with the liquinipara to cook porridge at home. But we do visit them at their villages once a month for follow-up. And if all goes well, they don't come here as long as they are okay. But if the child relapses again, we bring the child back here to NRU for retreatment again. And if the child is not responding, we do refer to Mangochi District Hospital for further management and investigation.
Every year, more than 500 malnourished children are treated when their mothers bring them to the center and get food and medicines there. The cost of treatment for one malnourished child for 1 month at this nutrition center is about 100 euros. Any assistance towards this project will be highly appreciated. Chicken rearing. This project started in 2010. A simple and marvelous idea put forward by an Italian medical doctor, Dr. Giulio Bozza from Paradico, Brescia, in Italy. A few years ago, he visited Early Childhood Development Center for 1 month as a volunteer. Being a nutritionist, he hatched an idea that was a dream to be carried out since long ago. A location using already existing rooms in St. John's campus was prepared, and with some modifications and additions, the chicken rearing project was created. Malawi's economy is based on agriculture, and the children's diet is very poor because it is based nearly exclusively on maize flour when it is available. To fill in the lack of noble protein in form of meat and of eggs, this project was carried out to enable the nursery school staff to give the children chicken meat once a week and an egg once a week. 50% of the chicken meat is given to the children. The remaining 50% of the chicken meat and eggs are sought to contribute to pay for the chicken feed and pay for vaccinations and workers. To expand this project, 8,000 euros are necessary.
Rock of ages, cleft for me, let me hide.
Care for the poor, old, sick, and for the orphans. For many years, in front of the office of Reverend Father Joseph Kimu, there was always a long queue of the poor people waiting for their turn to seek help in narrating of their situations of extreme poverty. Confronted with such terrible cases, it was difficult to get rid of them just with some words of comfort and hope. Near St. John Early Childhood Development Center, there is a group of women who devote their lives to the Lord while they continue their work among poor people. They are entrusted with orphans, a group of poor people suffering from HIV/AIDS, old, neglected, and disabled people. They regularly visit them in their homes, help them to fetch water from the well, sometimes help them mending the grass roof of their huts before the rains. They help them to clean themselves when they are seriously ill and not self-sufficient. They bring them food, medicines, sometimes a blanket or a dress. Every 11th day of the month, they come or send someone to collect their necessities enough for 1 month. At the moment, there is a total number of 250 people in this group. Assistance to poor students. For a great number of students who attend different secondary schools, university, or professional schools, school fees is paid by the St. John Early Childhood Development Center. While primary school education is free in Malawi, secondary school education is very expensive here. Unfortunately, only a limited number of families with a good financial position can afford to help their children to proceed to secondary education. About 400 students get assistance. Girls are trained to become nurses. Some attend teacher training colleges or other studies or professional courses. In the eyes of Reverend Father Joseph Kimu, the country of Malawi needs well-trained and educated people in every sector of life. Training of people to become professionally qualified is a major issue in the development in order to better the country's economical situation. The total budget needed per year at the moment is 60,000 euros. Orphans living with Mother Margaret. Reverend Father Joseph Kimu's mother, Margaret, has been caring for about 30 orphans at her home for many years now. Most of them are girls. Many have been sent to different boarding schools to give them a good education. His sister Martha and another lady helped his mother in caring for these orphans. When there was lack of space at her old home, a benefactress helped to build a bigger home in order to give the orphans a real home and not an orphanage. This gave his mother the opportunity of accepting more orphans than before. St. John Vocational School. This is a new project which helps many boys and girls who in the past attended the 2 nursery schools but are now attending primary schools in their villages. They gather at St. John Early Childhood Development Center 3 times a week in the afternoon and learn how to mend their clothes, repair their bikes, prepare brooms with dried palm leaves, manufacture doors, and so on. They learn how to stay and play together. They organize football tournaments and above all are encouraged to attend school. St. John Private Secondary School. This is a new project too, which started in 2010. The aim is to help those who dropped out from school for various reasons. For example, because they failed their exams or had a barely sufficient score, got impregnated, lacked school fees, etc. An idea was given of giving them the opportunity of revising and brushing up their knowledge in order to take again their exams and have better results and get their certificate. Lessons take place in the classrooms at the Center for Women's Promotion every day from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. from Monday to Friday. In 2009, an agreement was made with a village chief who is cooperating very well with the Early Childhood Development Center to acquire a piece of land which is mainly used as playground for football, netball, volleyball, and various games for children and young people. The ground was cleared of the plants and bushes and was leveled, taking away stones. After having brought the water to the ground, what remains is to build the dressing rooms with toilets and showers. To finish this work, 20,000 euros are needed, which will hopefully be found believing in the divine providence. The aim of this project is to give children of the schools, but also other young people of the area, a playground where they can meet during their free time for recreational activities and to practice sports. St. John Guest House. The St. John Guest House was built with the background of wanting to give hospitality in a well-equipped and adequate home to friends and benefactors who support the projects when they want to come and work as volunteers for a short or longer period of time, or to people who just want to come and visit the St. John Early Childhood Development Center or want to spend some holidays or a time of rest and relax. It is also an income-generating project for the purpose of supporting all the other charitable projects. With the global financial crisis, it is getting more and more difficult to find help and support from is often sought after here. Up to now, people who have visited this house have been very satisfied with the services and have always expressed
Take my hand and run with me out of the past called yesterday, and walk with me into the future of tomorrow.
St. John Private Boarding School for Girls. The newest project is the building of the St. John Girls Boarding Primary School for about 300 girls aged between 6 and 14 years. This project is still in progress. Due to high school fees and high transport costs when they come back to the village for holidays, and because of the difficulty in following them up from a distance, it was thought that it would be better to have a boarding school near St. John Nursery School. The idea there is to have girls from well-off families and poor girls. With the money received from the school fees paid by the richer families, it should be possible to support the poor girls. By doing so, poor girls would be prevented from getting involved in early marriages and pregnancies. Moreover, the girls will be able to study in favorable surroundings and without many distractions to which young girls are prone.
The girls here are explaining some of the problems they go through in their studies. One of the problems that hinder a girl child to further her studies is the poverty of her parents. Because of early pregnancy, the girls do not have anybody to encourage them to go back to school. Most of the girls do lack school fees.
A complete compound will include the building of hostels, classrooms, dining room, multipurpose hall, administration block, library block, brick fence, house for the guards, sisters convent, ablution block, matron house, and staff houses. The project will also, among other things, eradicate lack of sufficient primary schools in Chimwala area. The total budget needed is close to $952,648. It will be highly appreciated if someone or some organization funds one or more buildings of their choice in this noble project to help give a future and a dignified life to many poor girls in Chimwala area. Such a building can be dedicated to their organization or any person they want to honor. The money donated for a particular item or structure in the project will strictly be accounted for with regular and accurate reports showing how it is spent, supported by invoices, receipts, photographs, and video clips of the work in progress.
Construction of boreholes in memory of Bishop Alessandro Assolari. On April 13th, 2005, the Lord called Bishop Alessandro Assolari in his kingdom. Bishop Assolari spent 51 years of his life in Africa, the first 6 in Madagascar and then in Malawi. For all of us, and especially for the poor, water means life. Reverend Father Joseph Kim would like to remember Bishop Assolari in Africa by giving life to many poor people of Mangochi Diocese who cannot get potable drinking water through the construction of 51 boreholes with hand pumps. These boreholes are dug in the villages and poorer institutions. One complete borehole costs 5,500 euros.
Daycare Nursery School. The Daycare Nursery School is the most recent project under the Early Childhood Development Center, where very small children between 0 and 3 years old are taken care of. Most of these kids are from families that have their mothers doing some kind of work. It is a new phenomenon which one sees only in the larger cities of Malawi and not quite often in a rural place like Chimwala area, where charitable works are done. It originally started with the kids of the collaborators at the St. John Early Childhood Development Center who had small children, but at the same time had to continue working after the termination of their maternity leave. At that time, there were a maximum of 6 kids, but later on, the project grew when mothers from other nearby institutions, such as the primary schools, health centers, and the university, asked if they could also bring their kids to the St. John Daycare Nursery School. The maximum number the center has had is 30 kids. The kids are brought at the center at 7 a.m. and collected at 4 p.m. Should funds be available, a proper place shall be built designed for such an activity.
My dear friends, I believe that you have enjoyed viewing this DVD about St. John Early Childhood Development Center in Mangochi Diocese in Malawi. As you have seen, there are so many projects which have been accomplished. And those projects have been accomplished by the sacrifices of so many people. I would like, at the end of this DVD, to express my profound thanksgiving, especially to the benefactors, most of whom are not rich people, but simple people, some of whom I can testify that they are poor people, but poor people who were ready to sacrifice their own money, their own time, their own things in order to help some other poor people here in Malawi. I would like really to ask God to bless these people because of the gesture they did in creating a space in their heart. Finally, I would like to thank the volunteers who have come here to spend long or short periods with our people, especially the children. I can imagine the comfort some of these volunteers left at home and the sacrifices they made while staying here. The heat, the mosquitoes, and so forth, the bad roads. I would really like to thank them for that missionary spirit they have shown, to forget themselves and come here in order to share the joys and sorrows of our people. It is amazing to see that when I chat with these volunteers who have been here to help, most of them tell me that when they thought of coming here, they had this idea of coming here to give, to help. But when they finished their services here and started off going back home, they revealed honestly that it was them that received more than what they thought they were coming to give to the poor people. This, as you may have heard in the DVD, proves true what John Paul II used to say, that there is no poor person who is so poor as not to give something to another poor person. But also, there is no rich person who is so rich as not to receive something from a poor person. For me, this is the miracle of love. A great exchange took place between someone who is materially better and someone who is materially poor. When they meet, they exchange human values which cannot be bought by any amount of money. And this is the secret of this volunteerism, whereby people leave their homes, comfortable, better homes, with good hospitals, good food, good roads, good transport, good means of communication, and come here and move around our villages in the dirty roads and so forth. It is this joy which they gather when going back which is invaluable. It cannot be valued. In this line then, I would like to invite you who have watched this DVD to think about coming here also, to experience this joy of working among poor children, of working among sick people or HIV, AIDS infected, of working among old people, of working among poor women, of working among poor students. I invite all of you to come here and enjoy these human values which, as I have already said, cannot be bought by any amount of money. I thank you so much for taking your time to view this DVD, and I thank you so much if you already decide to come here, but if you already decide to do something on one of the projects which you have seen in the DVD. Thank you very much. May God bless you. May God enrich you. And Jesus Christ, who has been served in the poor people, may He give you divine blessings. Zikomo kwambiri, zikomo, zikomo. Thank you.
Any assistance to any of the projects will be highly appreciated. Reverend Father Joseph Kim and the whole staff of St. John Early Childhood Development Center thank all the friends and benefactors who helped to carry on these projects with all their hearts.
The following are some of the dreams for the future in favor of the people of Chimwala area, depending on the availability of funds. Introducing an irrigation project at a higher level by using the water of the lake. Buying a maize mill and the construction of a structure to house it and the workers where it will be possible to process rice, maize, flour that is needed every day to feed the numerous children who attend 2 nursery schools and the nutrition center. A project to build a hospital for children. A project to build a technical school in which to train electricians, mechanics, bricklayers, plumbers, etc. With the help of God, these dreams will certainly come true one day.
The needs are really very many, and what is done at St. John Early Childhood Development Center in Mangochi is like a small drop in an ocean. But as Mother Teresa of Calcutta used to say, to make a sea, you need many little drops. You are the hands of divine providence.
Thank you for watching this video and deciding which project you want to be involved in.